not to buy a bunch of prompt packs, because we've done that in the past, we've seen the results, and they don't actually give you the results you want. Some of these clowns go up on stage and say that, oh, AI is not really where it's supposed to be. No, you're not where you're supposed to be with your AI knowledge and experience. So do not make claims like that and discredit AI, because that really shows how ignorant you are. Write the perfect prompt is not something that exists. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is episode 100. It's taken me a little bit of time to record. There's a lot been happening. The new book is out and I've got my hands on it. I'm in beautiful Toronto and the weather is absolutely amazing. Pretty lucky, even in Brisbane, to have this kind of weather and work in this kind of weather and go for a walk in this kind of weather. But today I'm going to talk about how to prompt like a software engineer. It's the question I get asked the most, and I thought episode 100 of Amplify AI would be the perfect episode to talk about this and break it down. Now, for everyone that's gonna be part of the episode, I promise you there's some really cool stuff coming, and I want you to have a look that I broke this down for you in a way that is understandable, and this whole episode is going to teach you how to prompt better, how to get what you want out of artificial intelligence, how to use it properly. Obviously, the whole method is in the book. So amplifyais.com/book. Get a copy of the book. Let's get this episode done. Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to Amplify AI. The idea here today is I'm going to get to the prompting method for perfect results. And we hear this a lot. A lot of people say, this is just too hard to get the results I want out of artificial intelligence. It doesn't do what I want, so I'm going to go back and do it the old way. And we want to avoid that. And I promise you there's a better way to do this, to delegate your processes to AI, to reduce your human cognitive load, and to increase productivity so that you can do the things that actually matter. And that is what I promise you in this video. I want to take your idea of prompting to a new level so you get what you want out of artificial intelligence, so that you don't spend that time in your brain, and I want you to reduce your cognitive load. So how do we do that? What we want is not to buy a bunch of prompt packs, because we've done that in the past, we've seen the results, and they don't actually give you the results you want. Because when you use a prompt pack, you don't really know what's happening. You might have an idea, but you don't know what and why they're doing it. And a lot of those people that are selling the prompt packs have just bought prompt packs themselves. And that's what you really want to avoid. So they don't know what they're doing themselves. And this, you can see that, right? A lot of people these days, everyone is an AI expert, or their businesses are AI enabled, and you want to stay away from those. You want to find the people who have the knowledge and have been around for a while. Because when I hear the dentist or the marketer or the business coach that are claiming AI expertise, they're saying a lot of things that are absolutely not true. And you don't want to follow that advice, because it's totally bad advice. And what you realize when you buy these prompt packs, or you learn from the people who are not fully competent in the AI field, is that you don't get the results you want, and there is a gap in your knowledge. So what we want to do is follow these 3 steps, okay? And I'm going to cover these 3 steps in the episode. First step is to understand the prompting framework. It's a 7-step prompting framework for you to get the results that you want out of any AI model. Any AI model will do that for you. Whether it's Claude, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Meta, whether it is Gemini, Llama, doesn't matter really. Llama is better. So the first step is to understand the creator framework, okay? The second step is to understand the REO Speedwagon of the creator framework, which is the 3 basic and most important steps of the 7 steps. And then the third is to understand context, which is the TRAC. and how to layer context in your prompting. Those are the 3 steps that we're going to follow today, and I'm going to show you how it's done. Now, what happens when people are in this position where they get this early success and they don't really get the results they want from the prompt packs or the people that are teaching them how to do it, is then they discredit AI. They make these assumptions or these claims that AI doesn't do what it's meant to do. And some of these clowns go up on stage and say that, oh, AI is not really where it's supposed to be. No, you're not where you're supposed to be with your AI knowledge and experience. So do not make claims like that and discredit AI, because that really shows how ignorant you are, and you don't want to do that. So my hope for this is that you actually get the really good insights that will make you a prompting genius. So when you're going through that, and if you've already been there, it's cool. We've all been there. We've all made assumptions about certain things. So if you're already there, here's how I'd love you to approach that. The first is find a prompting method that works every time. Now, you might not want to follow the one that I'm showing you, but you might find another one. This is my prompting method. It's called the Creator, CREATOR, 7 steps. And that you can find another one maybe. And now with AI, you can probably look using some pretty cool tools to find a different prompting method. But find a prompting method that works every time. The next is write the perfect prompt is not something that exists. So when you think about writing the perfect prompt, you can only write with certain amount of context, and then you got to layer that context. That's why the third part is really important. You got to use recursion for better results. Make the output of the last prompt the input to the next one. I'll talk about that in the episode. There are some secrets that I want you to do, and I'm going to cover these, but I'm covering them now so that you can understand what they are. First secret is processes everything. If a process gets an output, allow AI to use that process and that methodology to get the results you want. So do not create a new process. Process is everything. Find the process that works and then use that process. The second is advanced prompting techniques. Now, if you followed this podcast for the last 100 episodes, you know that I've covered a few advanced prompting techniques. And if you want more, join the school community. Go to amplifyais.com and you'll find resources up in the website. But the school community is school.com, SKOOL.com/amplifyai. And it's a community, it's free. And I have different trainings in there. And some of them are advanced prompting techniques, or you can get to them inside our ecosystem. And the third thing is the new GPT-01 model that has come out from ChatGPT. And now here's the thing. What it does, which others don't do yet, is it thinks before it responds. All this time, there's not really been thinking involved, or the thinking hasn't been sufficient enough. And I'll talk about O1 in a second. Those are some secrets for you to think about. So when you got this done and your prompting techniques are on point, this is what it looks like. You're confident in asking AI and getting from AI anything and everything that you actually want and need. That's the goal. And that's where I want you to get to. Number 2, the process takes less time, less energy, and less money to execute. So when you're done with today's episode, that is my goal, is if you practice enough and take today's principles into play, that's the goal. Job of an AI officer, by the way. And if you want to learn more about becoming an AI officer, send me a message. I'll talk to you more about that. And the third thing that success looks like when you're here in this episode and you're done with it is the results are effective, it is efficient, it's ethical, and the results are intelligent. So let's get into the steps. How we implement the 7-step creator framework. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already gone and listened to episode 40 of the Amplify AI podcast, that's the AI prompt engineering basics. We cover a lot of cool things, but most importantly, we cover the creator framework, which I'm going to cover right now. So when I spoke to you, the 3 things that I'd love you to look at, the first being understanding the creator framework here, then what is REO Speedwagon will be the second step. And the third step is to understand the TRAC part of the creator framework. So the first thing I'm going to do is get to the creator framework. All right. How does this work? The creator framework is a prompting methodology that allows you to follow 7 steps to get the perfect prompt every single time. So let me explain the creator framework. And if you've already watched this and covered this in some of the previous, you've been a fan for a while, thank you. But let me cover this again. There are 7 steps to get the best prompt. The first is the character. And by the way, this prompting framework is really valuable, especially if you're going to give you're gonna ask your team to do something for you. Like if you're gonna say, "Hey team, can you do X for me?" Using this creator prompt method really allows you to communicate exactly what it is that you want and get the result that you're after. So the first thing is you say, "Hey, I'd love you to behave like this type of person." Right? So if you're saying to your assistant, you're going to say, "Hey, I'd love you to behave like a marketer and write me a really good social media post." Right? That's the result. So the first one is character. What do you want them to behave like, and how do you want them when they're that goes for the AI especially. The second is what's the result that you're after? So what's the ultimate goal of the prompt? The third is what are the essential pieces of information that the person or the AI needs to know for you to complete and the task that you're after. So complete the result and complete the ultimate goal. What are the essential pieces of information that the person or the AI needs to do that? That's number 3. Number 4 is okay, if the person or the AI has these essential pieces of information, what do you want them to do with it? Is there an approach? Is there a step-by-step method to take those pieces of information and take that and create something with it? Is there a set of steps? Is there a way to do it? Specific process? How do you want them to follow and what order do you want them to take to get the result? That's number 4. Number 5 is tailoring. Is there any other additional pieces of information, any context that you can give that makes the execution and the importance and personalization for the output, like makes it easier for them to execute this, right? Number 6, what is the output that you want? What does it output look like? And how do you want the result to be displayed, right? That's number 6. And number 7 is who is the result for? Let me break this down for you so that you can understand what I mean. So when I talk about number 7 and the recipient, who are you executing the ultimate prompt for? The goal, is it for you? Is it for your board members? Is it for your audience? Is it for your clients? So who is the ultimate person that's going to look at the output of the prompt that's creating? Who is it for? All right. Those are the 7 steps. Now, when I spoke about the 7 steps, I spoke about how it is important for you to understand them. Now, obviously, go to previous episode number 40 and have a look at the whole breakdown. Or if you want the full breakdown and a very detailed training, go to the school community, school.com/amplify AI. And we've got a bunch of trainings, especially in the creator framework. So that's the step number 1. Step number 2 is to understand REO Speedwagon. What I mean by that, REO Speedwagon is REO, the REO part of the creative framework. So the 7 steps of the creative framework, the step number 2, 3, and 6 are the key steps. You can skip the other 4 in certain situations, but those 3 REO are the most important steps that you have to have in every prompt to get the result you want. Let me talk what that is. First one is the result. What does it look like? Write me a social media post, write me an article, create me an email, ideate for me a SWOT analysis, think for me the different product names for this ultimate product. So whatever the thing is, whatever your result is the most important thing. The next is what is essential pieces of information that you need for the result to be perfect and the ultimate goal to be executed properly. What does that look like and how do you create that? So, for example, the essential pieces of information are write me a social media post for my audience who are business owners that care about adopting artificial intelligence ethically, efficiently, and effectively to grow revenue, right? There's an example. That's essential information to the ultimate goal of writing the social media post. The topic should be about how to grow revenue using AI. So that's still essential pieces of information, okay? And the output is, which is the REO, the third part of this essential piece of REO Speedwagon, which is how do you want it to look like? So when you're writing the post, I want you to write it with using H1 and H2 SEO tags, or you wanted to write it like a Google Doc or Word, or you want to write it in Markdown, or you want to write it in HTML. It doesn't matter. What is the output that you want? Or you want it output it in bullet point format, or output it like this. So what is the final representation and structure that you want to see when the prompt? So that is the second piece here, which is REO. This piece here is the second, third, and sixth step of the creator framework. Now, what we're going to do is step 3 is layering context, and that is TRAC, which is the remaining 4 steps of the creator framework. Let's get into that. So the creator framework has these steps, which is character, step number 1, approach, step number 4, tailoring, step number 5, and recipient, step number 7. So TRAC, which is TRAC, allows you to layer context over very important REO part of the creator framework. So REO, you know the result, you know the essential pieces of information, and you know how you want the output. Let's layer some context, okay? So let's use an example of writing an article for a magazine, a Forbes magazine, a Forbes style article. So let's start with REO first. The result is I want to write a Forbes style article on the topic of growing revenue using artificial intelligence. So the essential piece of information is I want them to use any large language model or ChatGPT to be able to get the result of growing their revenue. So I want to write an article on growing revenue using AI in a business. It is for the essential pieces of information is that it is for business owners, and I want them to follow a large language model type solution to the article should cover those types of ideas. And the output is I want it to be in a Forbes style article. Okay, now let's layer some context. I would like you to act like an expert copywriter that gets attention and keeps engagement for the reader of the post. That's the character, okay? The result is writing me a Forbes style article on how businesses can grow revenue using AI. The essential piece of information is that I'd like you to use a large language model type solution, and I would like you to make it relevant for business owners who are my audience. The approach that I'd like you to take is first research what is currently happening out there and the most useful steps that will get the quickest results for the reader. Ideate 10 of those steps and pick your favorite 3 and write the article based on those 3. You see how I've very specifically given it an approach on how to take that essential piece of information and make it relevant. In the 5th step, in tailoring, I'm going to say, now that you've done that and you have made that, you've got the top 3, I would like you to make sure that in each of the 3 that you pick, give the reader a way to execute them using a prompt immediately, so the reader can execute this whole article and the suggestions straight away. Okay, so I'm giving it more information to tailor. My audience are business owners. They care about quick ways to implement. They don't want to waste time. They want to get the result. They want to get a win. And they are people who have a marketing budget and they have social, so they can actually talk about the win that they got. That's in my tailoring format. Now in output, I want it to be a Forbes style article that I can publish on Forbes, and AI knows exactly what that means. And the recipient is my business owner, who's the article is written for a business owner who wants to implement AI in their business. So now when you write that full prompt out, you will get ridiculous results, I promise you. And it'll allow you to create this prompting method and this prompting technique that actually helps you get the results you want. I'm very, very proud of this, by the way, because I know the results that people have been getting, and I'd love for you to use it in your results. Thank you for watching episode 100. I'm very, very excited to give you the next few episodes that are going to come out. I've got the next 7 episodes planned out. So in 101, we're going to talk about which AI is better and why ChatGPT is just beginner level stuff. And if someone's teaching you how to do stuff on ChatGPT, I promise you they don't know what they're talking about. That's episode number 101. In 102, I'm going to talk about custom instructions, why they're important, how to create your own, and why that will give you the results that will knock your socks off. Absolutely. That's in episode 102. In episode 103, we're going to talk about how to amplify your business revenue using AI. I've got a bunch of steps, and I've got a really cool method to show you how to do that today, right now. The next one is in episode 104. We're going to talk about how to amplify your business brand using AI. In 105, we're going to talk about how to amplify your business audience using AI. And in 106, we're going to talk about how to amplify your business operations using AI. Is anything in particular that you want me to come? I still have that email, we still have that business, and we still are good.
Hey, AI Geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI Geeks by going to aigeeks.co. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI Geek. Until then, much love.